All right, should be up and running. We'll be going over the plays from today as well as the market, what to look forward to next week. So let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for April 30th, 2021. Last day before we move on to May. All right, we were watching the Qs and SPY for a potential breakout failure. Okay, now that's what we were watching for here prior to yesterday's gap up. Now, yesterday's gap up, even though this was a breakout failure on the hourly, which didn't end up being the case because we did not break below the base that was outlined here, instead we ended up doing a daily breakout failure. So a breakout event or a failure event on a larger time frame is even more significant. So, interestingly enough, this base that we outlined a couple days ago is actually now relevant to Monday. So what happened here is we attempted to go higher and these prices could not find more buyers. The fact that we had today's gap down underneath the closing buying that we got yesterday, right, is a little even more bearish, right? So going into Monday, it's really kind of the same story from a couple days ago. Underneath the base, we will be transitioning out of the uptrend on the hourly here. Now, the tough part about this is that the daily is still in an uptrend, the weekly is still in an uptrend, monthly is still in an uptrend. So, could we get a shallow pullback to the 20 MA on the daily and then rest from there and then set up for the next move higher? Right, of course. So, larger time frames are all still bullish. So underneath the base, just like we said a couple days ago, neutral. Okay, and we'll see if this hourly gets some follow through. Does it start to bring the daily down with it? Do we get a deep pullback? Right. So on the daily, in order for us to start being bearish on the daily, what we would have to see is after we pull back, the next attempt to move higher, if it produces a lower high, right, that would either be, depending on the extent of the pullback, the first area to look for, or if it's a shallow pullback, then underneath the initial bounce, then we'd go into a downtrend on the daily. Okay, so we're starting to anticipate that. First things first, you know, if the hourly goes into a downtrend first, right, daily, weekly, monthly would follow. But of course, hourly is the fastest moving, is going to do it first. So that's what we're watching. It's not in a downtrend yet. We're watching this breakout failure here that we got on the daily. Okay, Qs here, just to compare, you can see did make a new high there and then also got sold. And then Qs are doing a nice base here. So underneath that, right, the Qs are going to start to weaken there on the daily. But again, larger time frames are still in an uptrend, so it's a little bit too early to anticipate that, right? All right. All right, let's get into today's plays. The first play that I was looking for to do was this ARDX underneath the lows, and it got bought instead. Okay, you can see there, that's not a bad bar there to play as a 2-minute high low. So that's kind of what I was starting with there, ARDX. And then Twitter, I was looking to do the same thing and then got bought instead as well. Initially in the morning, I thought, well, we have probably the best gaps list that we've had all week. But at the open, there wasn't that much to do, I thought, as far as playing off of the gaps. Now, eventually, as the afternoon went on, even as the morning went on, you could see eventually the Twitter did give the breakdown, did give the follow through there. That's very pretty on the Twitter. Okay, so there, right there, 15-minute base breakdown. So I had to be a little bit patient today. Okay, you might have played the WY with me. Played this in the morning. Here's the gap down on the WY. Trying to break the uptrend here by gapping down. And so the very first entry that we had was this base breakdown here. Okay, so that was staying weak, basing right there. And then we got a little bit of volume there. You can see it clearly on the 2 minute. See that volume pickup? So I was a little bit concerned about a breakdown failure, so I went ahead and killed it. Now, what's interesting, so we lost about half hour on this. What's interesting is that right after it trailed us out, it became a topping tail and then didn't follow through higher at all. Okay. So there's kind of two rules for me when it comes to replaying something. If I like just got what I think is maybe shaken out of something, which I was suspicious of at this point, is that I can either get back in it underneath the bar that got me out, like if it's a short, and then put the stop at the top where the shakeout happened, or wait for the next entry. So in this case, because this bar already started to move lower, I did it as the next entry. So basically we did a 2 minute sell setup based, and then 20 MA caught up, and then underneath 50 there. So the nice thing about the replay is that we got a tighter stop this time. So whereas this one was like a 37-cent stop, this one was a 26-cent stop. Tighter stop here, okay? And then first target as we got to 37, I think we trailed some here off the 1 minute, okay? And then trailed another piece here over 11, I think. Yeah, I said at 11, over 10, take another portion that was off of the 2 minute. And then stick with the rest until the hourly trails, which the hourly did end up trailing here. There were a couple of points where we were looking at it. Maybe we do get to add, but then the ads didn't trigger, right? So we were looking at maybe if 5 minute catches up, we can add there. And then the next time is I think we had a little bit of a 15-minute sell setup setting up. You can see it's already highlighted. We were looking at it. Do we want to add underneath, if it takes that out, which it never did. Instead, it just trailed. So I think the trail was, over 46. So break even essentially on the very last runner piece. Just in case, what I was looking for here was, you can see here, minor support, or previously minor support, a little bit of major support there, if we want to follow through a bit more there. So that was going to be the final target. But just the first piece alone more than made up for the initial piece that got us shaken out, and then a little bit of bonus there on that last trail when it did finally get to the target. Just couldn't get to the bigger target, and you see it actually got bought pretty impressively, even though the market kind of stayed towards the lows. Okay, so I think you had to be a little bit patient today as far as kind of the follow through on the chart, like we saw on the Twitter. That took its time. You might have played the FSLR here at coming out of lunch. That was the one that we were focused on here. This base breakdown eventually got going. Market definitely helped. Nice play there from James on the DXCM sell setup. Similar to the WI, I think a little bit better as far as the gap goes. Has an uptrend, trying to break the uptrend with today's gap, leaving all of any of these buyers that are still in it in a bit of trouble. So I thought today's gaps list was the best of the week. Just had to kind of let the pattern show up. So a little bit different than what we've seen the last couple days. Last couple days have really been the gaps get going right away, and really had to be focused at the open to catch them. Okay. So hopefully you did well today. And hopefully we get more good quality gaps and good follow through moving into next week. Either way, I think, we have plenty to do, and it's going to stay pretty busy, especially if the market starts to really get going here. I know today the market was a bit sloppy today, but still kind of a narrow range bar. So market itself a little bit on the sloppy side, a lot of narrow bars here in comparison to what we have seen in the past. So if the market starts to get going, that'll also give us more opportunities. Okay. All right. We'll be back at it on Monday. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you then.